lovelies, welcome to my channel. My name is Jade and this is a channel where I help women and men take back their power and witchy shit. Right, so today's video I'm going to be discussing 7 physical traits that witches have. Now, a disclaimer, you can have some of these traits or none of these traits, and it doesn't mean that you are or you're not a witch, so don't be disheartened if you don't have any. But these are just some common traits that you may have, so I thought it'd be fun to talk about. Right, so number 1 is large eyes or penetrating eyes. So basically a lot of witches will have very distinctive eyes. And this is because they are old souls. So a lot of the time it's well known that the eyes are the window to the soul. So a witch will normally have very large, sort of intense eyes that draw people in. So they will normally be your best feature, or they will normally stand out, or they'll just be something that people are naturally drawn to or notice. Some witches can even have sort of alien-like eyes, so very big and sort of creepy looking. And this is because a lot of modern time witches are actually starseeds. So this kind of signifies and goes hand in hand with that sort of trait that they have. But a lot of the time you will just notice that their eyes sort of tell their wisdom. It reflects their wisdom, so to speak. It reflects their old soul. It reflects their sort of ancient, not really from this time. There'll be just something magical, mystical, or mysterious or beautiful about their eyes. They'll just draw you in or freak you out, either way, but they'll do something and they'll be quite large. And this is normally the biggest sign of an old soul or a healer or just a beautiful soul in general. They'll normally have very penetrating, deep eyes because they actually see you through, properly. Number 2 is palms. So some witches will actually have physical signs and patterns or certain lines on their palms. So with me, one of them is actually having an M. So I don't know if you can see that. So you can see the M there, and when you turn that upside down it's a W. Okay, I have to distort my arm, but you get the drift. So basically upside down M is a W, which stands for witch. But the M is known from shamans, etc. They normally say that this means that you are a master, or you've come here, you've mastered something in your past life. So normally to do with occultism or spirituality, and it's the sign of being a healer and clairvoyant, etc. Another sign is having little vertical lines underneath your pinky. So again, you probably can't see that because it's too bright, but I can just see about 4, maybe 5, but 4 quite dominant ones underneath the pinky, and that means that you are a healer. Another sign is on your index finger. There should be a cross. I can see mine, it's quite faint. So even if they don't have to be so dominant and proper sunken in your other palm lines. But you'll see, if you just look under certain lights, you'll be able to see something's there. If there is, if not, don't worry. Another sign is obviously a circle. I don't actually have this, I can't see one at all, but apparently if you have a little circle, like a line of a circle, that's another sign that you are a natural born psychic, that you're clairvoyant. And so there is a few others as well. I think there's one to do with your thumb. I can't remember all of them, but basically your palms can say a lot because it's kind of like a blueprint of who you are, your past lives, your soul. So it would be cool if you could find a genuine palm reader and show them your hands, and then they might be able to tell you some certain things. So yeah, palms. Number 3 is moles, veins and birthmarks. So in ancient times, the lovely witch hunters bastards, they would actually look for moles on women, and they would use that as validation that they're a witch and they need to be hung and killed or burnt or whatever torturous way they could kill them. So they believe that if a woman had moles or beauty spots or even a third nipple, that was their way of feeding their familiars. And yeah, validation that they are a witch. Also birthmarks they included, excuse me. So you might have a birthmark that represents something from your past life, of you being hurt, tortured, or even how you were killed. So if you were shot, you might have, like say in your chest, you might have a mark that represents that. Another thing is also lines on the neck. Like I used to believe that, because I've always had, I don't know if you can see, like a line there. It's pretty deep, and then there's another one here. I used to think that that was because I had a messed up thyroid, but turns out my thyroid is fine, and I've had blood tests, and I heard the other day that it's actually because you were hung as a witch in a past life, and obviously that's why you have the line, because you were actually hanged in your past life. Yeah, veins. So veins, again, you can't probably really see, but you might have like your veins in your hands might make certain patterns or sigils or marks. I think mine kind of looks like, the goddess symbol. Like if you can see, I've got little goddess symbol earrings, but I can see there's like some sort of circle in the middle and then like lines and then two other lines. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, probably not. But it helps if you do this, try pump them up with your blood. Or if I do it this way, it kind of looks like an Egyptian eye. And I'm obsessed with ancient Egypt, so that's interesting. So yeah, but you might find weird little symbols or, you know, hidden sigils within your veins, because literally that's what makes you your blood. So that's another, you know, surefire sign that something is very witchy about you. 4 is tattoos. So if you're interested or naturally drawn or obsessive with tattoos, then that could be a sign that you're a witch. Because tattooing is actually a very ancient practice, and it was used as a spiritual practice. And even in Egyptian times, like 2 mummies were found of women who were 5,000 years old, who were adorned with tattoos, symbolizing that they were a high priestess, and one was a healer. And you know, they would adorn their bodies with tattoos for protection, to show off their status, to, you know, say who they are. But they would use these as like talismans, you know, amulets, sigils, many things. So I actually was a tattooist for 8 years, which I recently have like had to sort of let go of. But I was always obsessed with tattoos and couldn't wait to get my body tattooed. So it's interesting that I then became a tattooist and I just picked it up like so quick. But with me, if you're someone who wants to like get tattoos for protection, or like you like symbols, or you know, you have deep meanings to your tattoos. They're not just, oh, you saw something on Pinterest and it looked cute, you know, so you're gonna put it on your body. You put a lot more thought into your tattoos. This could be a sign that you've done this in a past life, and you remember that tattoos are actually meant to symbolize, you know, spiritual things, because whatever you put on your body, you take on that energy. So you want to be putting tattoos that are positive on your body, or mean positive things, or are protective, not negative. So bear that in mind. Number 5, this isn't so much a sort of physical trait, but it's kind of, you know, a physical thing that witches struggle with. And that is, you're quite clumsy. Like naturally you're quite clumsy. This is because you are literally predominantly living in your higher chakras, and witches are a bridge. So a genuine like natural born witch, you are literally a bridge between the astral realm and the physical realm that we're now living in right now. So this is why you're kind of like, because you're not fully immersed in your physical body, you might be a little clumsy, you might trip over your feet a bit, you might like struggle to walk in heels. Like I'm terrible at walking in heels. I don't know how women do it. Like I have to wear chunky fat heels if I do. Like, I just can't seem to walk in like high stilettos. Even though I have little feet, like I can't do it. Even physical things like driving, because obviously your ancient self wouldn't have had a car. You might even struggle with technology. I'm not the best with technology, because you're an old soul and you're not really used to all these things, and you're not really used to being in the body. So you're more in the astral realms, the spirit realms, you know, you're communicating with them, you're feeling all that energy because you're naturally an empath. So you're kind of like between two worlds, and that sometimes that makes us very ungrounded. So it'll be very beneficial to practice grounding things. So go earthing, go do some gardening, go get a load of plants in your house and tend to them, feel the soil in your hands, smell like essential oils, have a salt bath. Like, there's many things that you can do to help ground yourself, like sort of back into your body. What else? I wear a copper bracelet. So again, copper sort of helps your spirit sort of be more grounded within your body. Otherwise you can get very disorientated and even get dissociation disorders. I had that a few years back and it's really terrible. And if I forget to ground myself, I like go back to feeling that way, very floaty, very, you know, you kind of feel stoned basically. You feel just high and like it's kind of uncomfortable feeling. So that's a very common trait of physical witches, or physical trait of witches. Another sign is, or another trait is, you're prone to getting sick. So especially when you haven't learned your gifts, you haven't learned how to control energy. So in your childhood or your teen years, even in early adulthood, you might find yourself, you know, sort of struggling or getting weird sickness, aches and pains, headaches, gut issues, tummy aches and nausea, especially when you go into sort of red zone areas, I call them, like hospitals, clubs, bars, certain restaurants, pubs. Like, I had this thing, like, when, as an example, when I was a child and a teenager, I could not go into pubs. I live in England, so there is a lot of old pubs, haunted pubs, that are like hundreds of years old. And the town that I first grew up in, called Crawley, was creepy Crawley, had some very old pubs, and even Crawley itself has a very dark history. So I was always, as soon as I'd sit in the pub, I'd get very anxious, I'd feel physically sick, I'd sometimes get nausea, I'd sometimes even feel like I was going to pass out. Like, it can be that intense. But this was before I knew I was an empath. This was before I knew how to shield myself. I was on a very low vibration. So this is why witches especially have to do a lot more work than the average person to keep themselves healthy. So you need to eat healthy food, you need to have lots of water. It's not a good idea to drink alcohol, to smoke, you know, to anything that will, you know, open up your aura. You know, even do certain drugs, like it's not beneficial really to have loads of weed or to go too heavy on psychedelics, or to even do psychedelics in the wrong environment, because you're naturally way more open than the average person. So things affect you more because you're a highly sensitive person. So even if you're around a toxic person, their energy might linger onto you and make you feel sick. Like, if I am around someone who's very negative for hours, I'll get a migraine. Like, I'll feel awful afterwards, and I'll have to just lock myself away for a few days afterwards to recover and recharge. So yeah, you can literally get real physical things like that happen to you. Even, you know, you might purge a lot. So I normally throw up quite a lot, especially if I heal someone, or if I have been around some toxic energy. If I've had an entity try to attack, like a spirit, a ghost, a lot of the time I'll get nauseated and then I'll throw up and then I'll be fine, because it's like you're literally getting rid of that energy. Even skin issues, if you get acne, spots, rashes, because your skin, you know, gets rid of toxins, is getting rid of the energy, or it's trying to. So you might have had acne on and off, or struggle with that. That can be a problem as well. So all of these things, but all of these things can be avoided or helped, or at least alleviated, if you really shield yourself and learn healthy boundaries and learn how to raise your frequency. And the last one is your body temperature might be a bit strange, predominantly cold. So if you are often quite cold, I certainly have always had this since I was a kid, and for no reasons. Obviously you don't have like anemia or, you know, sort of health conditions, that can be a sign as well that you are a witch, because shamans actually have the ability to be able to change their body temperature. So because you have so much different energies going into you, it can really fluctuate your body temperature. Like when you do Reiki, so a natural born witch, a strong sign is when, if you do Reiki, you'll feel really hot, you know, warmth come from your hands. So if you do Reiki on someone and they feel like a lot of warmth coming from, you know, onto their skin from your hands, then that's literally the energy being emitted from you. And that's what, you know, that's your chi, that's what heals people, energy healing. So yeah, you can fluctuate with that. But yeah, shamans can control their body temperature, so you can do this, you can learn how to do that. But you might find, even if you're like in a crowd of people and everyone has really high sort of intense potent energy, you might find you get a bit hot, a bit flustered, because literally their energy is like emitting like so much, and it's like waving through your body. So you might be like, oh, a bit sort of get like hot flushes randomly. But with the coldness, you might be a starseed soul, and a lot of starseeds naturally are like get cold a lot. But also if spirits are around, which they normally always are, especially around witches, you will feel them. So then they'll make you feel cold, as you know, a lot of the time as well. So yeah, it's basically, it depends on the different energy, because you're just exposed to so much energy, but not just in this physical realm, but in the realms of frequency bands that normal people can't see. You know, in the astral realms and different dimensions where there's so many other entities and spirits, etc., you're feeling their energy as well. So it's a whole mix of different energy, and it kind of can be a bit overwhelming. So it can make your body like fluctuate randomly as well. In body temperature. So there you go, that is the 7 physical traits of witches. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe and share if you wish. I will be doing a lot more videos, hopefully a few per week. Yes, and lots of love and light to you. Namaste.